What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network. And today we're talking the January 2nd, 2021 edition of Talking Smack, featuring none other than the hosts, Kayla Braxton and Paul Heyman. Featuring their guests as well, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. They had Jey Uso on at the end, in addition to, who was the other guest here? Oh, Billy Kay, for a brief bit as well. Another very entertaining episode. Didn't have a chance to watch this until today, actually, on Sunday, so I apologize for this going up late. But it was worth the wait. I saw a lot about it on social media, specifically the Jey stuff. It wasn't what I thought it would be. After hearing the hype about it, Kayla Braxton was like, I'm going to ask the hard-hitting questions. None of those hard-hitting questions were answered, nor did they expect them to. If she didn't hype this up, I wouldn't be thinking, it was this incredible interview. It really wasn't, because it was basically what we've been getting from the Heyman, Uso, and Reigns dynamic for weeks and months now. But it was still good. It was another very enjoyable episode of the show. Not the best, but still good for what it was. So Kayla and Paul Heyman discussed their attires to kick off the show in addition to their New Year's resolutions. And Paul Heyman says that his New Year's resolution is to get more ambitious opponents for Roman Reigns as Universal Champion. And he says that Kevin Owens is a handcuff to mediocrity. Interesting way of putting it. And he says, listen, if you come at your tribal chief, you best not miss. I thought that was a great line. So they quickly recap the events of SmackDown that saw Carmella pin Sasha Banks in tag team action. So they're teasing a sequel to their SmackDown Women's Championship match from TLC, which I'm looking forward to because that first match was good. They also bring up Daniel Bryan teaming with Otis to knock off Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. And she says that Bryan's New Year's resolution is probably to win the Royal Rumble. And Heyman's like, I'm not really, because Kayla's like, are you happy about that? And he says, I'm not really happy about it, but everyone's gunning for Roman Reigns right now. He name-dropped The Rock. He said The Rock is gunning for Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens is gunning for Roman Reigns. And now Daniel Bryan, Big E has Roman in his sights as well. Goldberg. Everyone is gunning. Everyone has Roman Reigns' name in their mouth, and rightfully so, because he's the best thing going in WWE, if not all of wrestling right now. So they welcome on Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, who discuss their attack on the Street Profits on SmackDown. And Roode says that their attack on the Profits was well-deserved. And Ziggler also brings up the Shawn Michaels comparisons, because I know the Profits brought that up during the show. And Heyman gives his honest analysis and says that he doesn't think the attack was provoked or deserved, which was refreshing. He says, if anyone deserves blame, though, it should be Adam Pearce for awarding Ziggler and Roode with their attack, with another shot of the SmackDown Tag Team titles, which he's not wrong. Adam Pearce is the real heel in that scenario. And if that wasn't apparent enough, we found that out on Raw as well. We found that out on Raw on Monday when he gave The Miz back his Money in the Bank briefcase, which was also completely stupid. But at least Ziggler and Roode versus the Profits part, 3 or 4 next week should be good, because their other matches were well wrestled. So anyway, Ziggler and Roode, obviously they say their New Year's resolutions are to win the tag team titles again, because they are former Raw tag team champions, and now they want to become SmackDown tag team champions. They welcome on Billy Kay, who discusses going from one side to the other in the women's tag team match that saw the Riot Squad beat the duo of Natalya and Tamina. And Kayla flat out calls Billy Kay a bandwagoner, and she denies that. And she says her goal for 2021 is to become a 2-time tag team champion. And she also wants to be more flexible. And that was when she was announced for next week's episode of The Bump, because I guess that was one of her goals in New Year's resolutions, was to be a part of the WWE Bump. And now she's on The Bump. I'm not really sure whose resolution would be to be on The Bump, but I guess Billy Kay is shooting pretty low this year in terms of her goals. Anyway, so the last person they have on is, of course, Jey Uso. The first thing that Heyman does is kind of pull him into his ear and say that he's very proud of him, and that Roman is also very proud of him, I guess, for kind of going along with Roman and attacking Kevin Owens on SmackDown, whatever. So Kayla asks the hard-hitting question. She gets very emotional and, not emotional, but very serious and intense. Her acting isn't the greatest, but it's way more bearable than Charlie. Charlie's just unbearable. Kayla's at least a little better in that respect. But she asks Jey, where does the credit belong for Roman still being, the defending Universal Champion? Is it you, or is it Roman Reigns? Because you've helped Roman Reigns retain the title the last couple of times, and you also helped him beat Drew McIntyre at Survivor Series. And he says, or he doesn't actually say anything at all. Heyman interjects and says that both he and Jey plead the fifth. So then Kayla questions if Jay's success is because of his own talent or because of Roman Reigns' help in helping Jay get to where he is now. And again, they don't answer. And then before she can ask her last question as the show goes off the air, Jay interjects and says, "That's a great question. That's an amazing question, Kayla. I will tell you exactly why. I'm Jay Main Event Uso. I took on Drew McIntyre. I took on Daniel Bryan. I took on Kevin Owens, all in the main event of SmackDown, which is true. And two of those three men he beat. He owns victories over Bryan and Kevin Owens and even AJ Styles, though that didn't main event SmackDown back in September. And that's why he's Jay Main Event Uso, because he delivers every time. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that. Jay Uso is not a main event player, but he has main evented a number of SmackDowns in the last couple of months. And rightfully so, because he's been a great character lately. So this was a good episode of Talking Smack. Not exactly must-see. The Jay Uso stuff was the best part about it. Billie Kay was fun while she was there, and the Rude and Ziggler stuff effectively built towards next week's SmackDown Tag Team title match. So a good show this week. Check out all my other Talking Smack reviews in the description box down below. Be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. And be sure to hit the bell button as well to be notified every time a new video goes up. Have a great one, guys. Be sure to check out my exclusive interview, which should be going up tomorrow, with WWE Raw star Keith Lee, talking to him for the second time in the span of 6 months. Our first interview is already available here on the channel, so check that out. Our second interview goes up tomorrow, first thing here on the channel, so be sure to subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified when it goes up before he faces Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. Have a great one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.